I'm looking forward to get into this, bro.
Well, let's
Yes.
get into it,
The
man.
slander.
Let's get into it. Let's
Oh, it's
go.
time.
It's
It's
time.
time.
It's
Time. It's
time.
Oh,
time.
we back for the 3P, bro. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
We established. I hope. Wait, were you? Anyways, whatever. It's hoodie season with us, bro. We're
Yes, sir.
matching. We're looking good today.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
How are you guys feeling though, Moru?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good right now. How you doing, friend?
You always feel good, bro. It's kind of sus. I
I'm
mean, I'm
feeling
all
great
right
right
too,
now.
but it's whatever. Maury, how you feeling, bro?
Dude, I'll be honest. I'm stressed out right now. I got a lot going on. I'm finished. I've got finishing up school. I got to schedule my test. I'm like doing training for on-the-job training for my new job. That's all related to me passing my test at the moment. Like, just a lot
Damn.
going on.
So that's what we like to hear. Some negativity. You feel me?
Oh,
Not some stress. Nah, but I'm glad to hear you guys are doing well. Welcome everyone to Meraki's Game Stays episode 3.
let's
Good morning, noon, or
go.
night. Welcome. Hope you're all doing well with us. Now, today's episode is dubbed the Brawlhalla Problems Part 2. And after part 1, we've been talking like on and off. We've been trying to save a majority of our thoughts for the podcast, but on and off throughout the week since last week, we've been trying to find different angles. Like, okay, we don't know everything. Blah blah blah. What's going on? How with the inner workings of inner workings of like BMG, how the company works out, why we're getting these changes, or why we aren't getting these changes. More importantly,
Right.
and so we want to put out like a disclaimer again, right? So of course we don't know for hard fact what's going on because we're not being given like accurate or like concrete information. We're hearing words and we're seeing actions or the lack thereof. And so those are the only two things we can go off of. Words, they only make you feel a certain way. They only give you hope, blah blah blah, whatever. Actions are what actually changes what's going on.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to tap in and talk about what's been going on recently.
Right. Right.
So how you feeling? How you feeling, Moru? When it comes
Uh,
to
it's been a weird week, I could say, where it's like I feel like a lot of the thoughts that we've been having, the community is starting to catch up with us in terms of like how much they're like. I feel like everyone was upset, right? Or like
Mhm.
vast majority of us were upset, but then it became to the point where it was like, oh no, we're like really mad about this now. We're
Right.
like actually about to be more passionate and more vocal about it than before. Which again also brings people up coming from the other side of being like, oh, you guys are doing too much,
Yeah, the
stuff like
tripping.
that. And it's like, no, no,
So
no, no.
And I'm actually glad you brought that up, like right off it, because there has been more frequency on Twitter, and so I
Yeah,
wanted to actually pull up some of these tweets right here. Give
Yes,
me
sir.
just
And
a
we're here
moment to make
for it.
sure everything's looking good, and I wanted to talk about like each of these individual tweets. So let's get right into it. So let
let's
me know
run.
when it's visible enough for you, Maury.
Yeah, we're good.
So this is the first tweet that came out in the week, right? It's from LCA underscore glue on Twitter. He says, "That's it. I'm saying it. Brawlhalla is dying at the hand of BMG, and it's not even their fault, right?"
Right.
So
And
how I
LCA
feel about
Glue,
what's that?
he isn't he a PR'd? Isn't he a PR player?
Oh yeah, he's for sure PR. He's been a long time player. I played him a few times in tournament,
Yeah, so this
in
isn't just
spars,
some just
etc.
random person that's, has no like quote unquote influence in the game. He's somebody in the competitive scene, putting in the work, putting in the time, putting the hours, and like this is his honest
Mhm.
opinion right now.
Oh,
Yeah, which is a sad thing because again just like all the other players who are playing this game competitively or have played it competitively, we don't want to see it die. However, like I said, the words and the actions they don't really align, and what's actually changing is kind of or not changing is concerning, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you guys about the opinion. I mean, your guys' opinions about the last part of the tweet when he says, "And it's not even all their fault," right? Like, what do you take from that? Like, what do you think of like between like BMG and upper like management? Because we know that around in March 1st of 2018, I believe it was, that BMG was acquired by Ubisoft, but we don't know. Again, we don't know how much say they have in what goes on with BMG.
yeah.
For all we know, their hands can be tied.
Right.
So like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I
Uh, yeah,
I
go
think
ahead.
part of it yeah, like I can kind of get behind that it's not all their fault, but at some point it kind of is, because it might not be right now, but what led up to the situation that we're in right now is, right?
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
So yeah, I don't want to let them completely off the hook. Like I'm obviously a supporter of BMG. I am. I love my Brawlhalla, but like we just gotta state the things the way they are right now, and like it it. It doesn't matter the unfortunate circumstances that may have or may not have happened or whatever, however it came about to being where the position we're at in. It started somewhere, and it started somewhere where they had control.
That
Yeah.
is true. That's actually a really good point that you bring up. Did
Right
you have
now,
any
right
like?
now it might
Okay.
not be. It might be a little bit out of their hands, and things are kind of like, because everything exploded, and it's like getting like the game itself exploded, and it's so big now, and so
Yeah.
like yeah, some
Mhm.
things are going to be kind of out of their hands with, but like you led us this way, like you led the path this way, you took this path, and like we're here now.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's just something we gotta hold. What are you thinking about it, Maury? If it's anything differing from what Maury has said, or to add on?
I feel like I mostly agree. Like, I agree with everything Maury says. I feel like part of it also is the thing is like you can't at this point you can't say it's not their fault because we've been vocal about the issues for so long that they have to claim accountability at this point, right? So it's like even if it's like for it's like bugs in the game, it's like okay, if bugs happen, that's not necessarily your fault in the sense that like you're not gonna be able to get everything, which we understand for sure. But like they've had the same bugs in the game for multiple years, you know. Like then
For example, I like to go off of what you're saying. I
yeah,
literally just saw a clip of a guy doing. I don't know if you guys remember that weird like platform. If you did a move and then you like tried to
The
platform
movie
dash and it
game.
launched you to the top of the
yeah, yep,
stage.
Yeah.
That's been a known issue for like yeah, a very, very
I,
long time. Like I think the
yep,
original tweet was over a year old. And
uh,
then they said they fixed it, and then literally just like a week ago, it's still in the like it's still in the game. Like
I did not see that tweet. I mean, I don't even know how I feel about that because I feel like that's like I don't know. It's kind of like low impact,
that
right?
that is
But
that is
it
low
is
impact.
weird.
It is. It's but it's a minor bug. But this is another example of them saying it being fixed, and it's still
yeah. Which is the the main issue is just like their word versus what's actually happening.
right.
And I think that's like again where's the situation where it's like you can't say it's not their fault because it's like
Mm,
we're being vocal. So either when you ignore us and you don't do anything about the things that we're telling you about, then it's your fault when people are upset. And then when you do we do acknowledge what we talk about, but then you don't do anything about it genuinely, well, it's your fault still because what are you doing? And I think it's like I don't
mm,
expect them to make everything right. But I
mm.
Right.
expect like something to be able to like the statements that they're making to actually genuinely be conclusive and conducive to the growth of the game and actually be able to be beneficial to what we're saying instead of just oh we fixed it and then like every 6 months the same glitches are being found, like there's that one glitch
Mm.
where sometimes people will be hit at like white and they'll get sent into the blast when they're like as if they were at like black, and then the thing works the opposite where someone gets hit and then they don't go anywhere from like a
Oh
kill move,
man.
Right.
you know?
Isn't there like that like gauntlet sidelight? Like if you hit gauntlet sidelight, right, it instead of sending them up, it sends them sideways.
So sideways, yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Yep,
seen
and
that.
that's been in the game. That's been a glitch since I've been playing Brawlhalla, by the way, because I've been a Gauntlets main. I've been a Val main like since I played, which was like 2017, late 2017, early 2018. That's been a glitch since
Mm,
then, like genuinely, because I've had it happen multiple times.
And like you said, like these aren't like game breaking glitches. These aren't things that are just
Yeah,
they're low impact. But the thing is now that people are getting to this point, they're gonna isolate these little things that they are seeing that are quote unquote fixed but aren't actually fixed, and it's just like adding fire to the flame. Like right now, we're not attacking BMG. We're not sitting here saying BMG, you're screwing up because you don't have Gauntlet
yeah,
sidelights
yeah,
fixed.
for sure not.
But this is just what the general public is going to continue to like add on, and continue to
Definitely.
like frustrate them, at least for like the competitive side, right?
Yeah.
mm.
And I think another thing too is like people have to understand. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. No, I was just gonna move on. But if you have more thoughts,
Oh, I was gonna say people they have to understand like for if they feel some type of way about the way the community is responding to them, the issue is that we're even if like we're we're not being like we're slandering in a sense, right, of like what's going on, like we're being very nice in the fact that we're trying to be vocal and actually create a dialogue versus people who are going to like don't even, I'm not counting Twitch chat because that's just a bunch of gremlins, but counting,
We love you, Twitch chat.
we love you, Twitch chat, but yeah. Uh, but no, but like outside of like when you're talking about people on Twitter, like there are people who are not gonna be nice about the fact that like these game things are not being fixed.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like and
right.
they're not even trying to have a dialogue. They're blatantly saying that you suck and you're not doing your job,
Yeah,
right?
remember that time where like there's a lot of people who are on like the quote unquote fuck TWK way, but it's like
Yeah.
hold on, bro. Like
Yeah, like that.
please
He's like that's
relax a
still a
little
dude.
bit.
Yeah, that's still a person, you know. But then the thing is, like, people look at Wrench and they're like, Wrench is just only complaining, and it's like, no, Wrench is trying to create a dialogue because he's telling you, like, these things have been like are genuine issues, and he's not saying like Brawlhalla is so terrible. He's like, why are
Yeah,
these things not being fixed?
Yeah.
Why is this
he's
not been
a
fixed? You know?
he's a disgruntled pro player who's
Yeah,
been dealing with a lot of shit for a long time, and it's like, yo,
and
can we please call some attention to this and like have something done about it?
Speaking of
yeah, and it's
dialogue,
not. And
if anybody from BMG ends up watching this or hearing this, like, and come on, we'd love to have you
Yeah,
in
for
here
sure.
and like let's
for
have a talk
sure,
with you. Like that would be amazing. We would love to have a
amazing,
great talk to you guys and try and shed some light on some things. That would be amazing.
1,000%.
%.
And final thoughts, more.
I was just gonna say like they people. I think that the community would, or not the community, but BMG would do a lot, would gain a lot from trying to be more topical with the community rather than
And
trying to attack
proactive,
it. Yeah,
right?
yeah, proactive for sure. Like,
Because it's
well,
funny
that's
because
really all we
the
want.
us as the consumers, we're in the reactive position. Like we are taking what they're giving us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is them giving like taking the first step.
for sure.
They're proactive, like but it doesn't. It's weird because it's just not working that way.
It feels like because the thing is right. So how it's supposed to work, or is at least from the perspective of consumerism, is that the customer is technically your boss, right? And you're the employee being the one who's making said thing. So once I consume your product, and I tell you how I feel about it, I'm your boss giving you an analysis on your product, your productivity, right? Um, BMG seems like they're handling it the opposite way, where it's like they're the boss and we're the employees just being like, well, it's not work. Like, it feels like it's like minimum work effort being put in, but it's like it's not like you're not getting things back in return. Like you're making a lot of money. We still
Mm.
care about your game. We're still putting in the effort to want to talk to you about these issues. It's not like we're just being like, F Brawlhalla, the game sucks, BMG sucks, this and that. We're like, no, we want to help, and we're trying to help, but then we're not getting responses back.
I think the problem that I don't know how we go about fixing it yet. I see some people making some big changes and steps for it, but I think there is I think we were talking to our good friend Baron about it once, and the general disconnect between the community, between the competitive community and potentially the casual community, right?
Right. And we gotta give Baron a shout out, give him some props, because what you personally asked for or what you wanted from BMG Mori is something that he's the one that's providing. Like he's writing transcripts for all of these like dev streams. He's putting it up on his own on his own site.
Yeah. Hey, do we have a link to that site? Can we throw that in chat? Do you
I do not
have
have it currently, but I can definitely grab it for you
sometime yeah, during the
before
stream,
the
if
end of.
we could,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure,
throw it up in the chat so that way if anybody's
definitely.
interested, what kind of expand on what Cinco's talking about, like I was asking for like a fact page or something,
Mhm.
and he's essentially done a his version of a fact page that BMG's allowed him to put out, and it's amazing. It's really well, like for somebody doing it on their own,
Yeah.
it's really well like put together. I'm
Well put together.
very
I had a
happy
great
with
time
what he
reading it.
did. What was that?
Oh, I was just saying I had a great time reading it. Like it was
Exactly.
It's
found everything I
it's
needed.
It's
legit
sad.
insane.
It's sad that like here's the only issue that I have with it. It's sad that he has to do it himself. That he's
Hmm.
somebody in the community is shouldering that burden, and not BMG. Like that's literally the only downside I have with it. Like it's not even a downside. It's just sad, right? Because
Yeah, for
I
sure.
love what Baron's done for it, and I think it's amazing, and I think that can
Definitely,
definitely be great to a great start for bringing the community together for sure.
definitely agree.
Indeed.
Do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to come back to the thoughts on that
About what specifically?
on Baron's doc? Do we want to talk about
Oh, on
Baron's doc
Baron's
right
like,
now?
okay, we can do it while we're here for sure.
Okay, so um, before we go into the doc, let's talk about the fact thing, right? So
Hmm.
Baron said to us that Baron said to us that they're not making a fact page, or as either Baron said or Maury said. Someone said during that thread that they're not making a fact page. It's just not happening, right? And that's why Baron made the doc with all the information, which is, by the way, insane. And shout out to him for doing it, because that took a lot of work, and it is ridiculous how thorough and how like it's very very well put together.
Hmm.
Um, however, and it's not against the doc. I Obviously this is just speculation, but it feels like the reason why BMG is not making a fact page is so that they cannot be held accountable for the things that they say.
Right.
That's how I feel about it.
Which
It's
is something that was kind of mentioned itself in the document where
it is.
the devs expressed frustration about they said I believe it was Duke specifically who said it's kind of hard to tell you guys things when you beat us up for it afterwards.
Hmm.
What do you think?
It, you can't say that. You just can't.
Why
Like
not?
your your position in the your position as a developer, right, is the fact is that your whole job is to you're giving us information and you're telling us things. You're supposed to be able to communicate with us the information that has been given. You're blatantly telling us, you're like, yeah, when we say things like basically just saying like he's upset that we're holding him accountable for the things that they say, because we don't beat them up for just giving us information. We're beating them up for the stuff that they tell us that isn't happening. Like when we were told in 2016, 2017 about clans, we expected that 6 years later we would already have something for clans happening. Where PS4 and consoles in general still don't have the ability to make or join clans, and it's
Yeah,
just a
which
blank page up there for them.
yeah,
Yeah.
they which the full release came out for Brawlhalla 4 years ago,
Full release, by
and
the way.
yeah, full release. And console players, like you said, are just existing without like with a blank square in the top of their
Yeah,
UI.
it's just there. It literally doesn't do anything. Like at that point, if it was not there, I would not have as big of an issue there. But it's literally a copy paste UI, and you still don't have clans in there. Even if you made a console exclusive, like I wouldn't even care as much. Like granted, I would still have like somewhat of an issue, but that's more of a personal preference versus the fact that you literally have copy paste UI for every single individual version of the game, console,
Mm,
PC, Switch, PS4, Xbox, whatever it is, right?
Right.
And then but you don't have but the code isn't going across the same way, because you still don't have plans for PS4, Xbox, Switch, right? They literally don't have plans. Like what's going on? The game is fully released.
yeah,
We are past beta. We are past alpha. The game is out. There's a
out
trailer
for
for it and
the world.
everything. You know,
Correct.
so
And
it's like,
so,
what are we doing? Like, what's going on?
yeah, it's just a great question in general, but I want to kind of like move forward and like move forward a little bit on what we read in the document as well
Yeah.
Okay.
when it comes to, and I feel like this shows another like communication there, but like or like I guess like a severed line of communication when it should be something that's brought to us beforehand. So we all remember how Greatsword was basically released as a weapon, I
Mid
believe
season.
mid-year.
Yeah.
Mid-year of what, 2020 was it?
Yeah.
And after a little while of it being released, it was just thrown into it was made legal in tournaments, I believe, during like the last quarter of the year around
Yeah.
Mammoth Cup, BCX quals, and BCX.
Mhm.
Which if you go and watch the tournament back, so much great sword everywhere, bro. But it's like like before 2020, I don't that never really happened. Like I remember they would for the most part show trailers for like weapons at BCX. For example, like BCX 19 it was either 18 or 19 where they previewed Scythe, and then they were
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, on the builds right here you can try out Scythe, and it happened.
Yep.
I believe it happened with Orb as well. It might be Orb that I'm thinking about. It happened with Orb,
Yeah,
and
it
we were
did.
playing. Yeah,
It was
2019,
2019
18.
Orb, yeah.
We were playing Orb on the setups, and I was like, wow, this is actually kind of cool. And so Orb came into the game. We had all off season, cool, whatever, fine. And then recently, more recent times, there was a question they answered on a dev stream about no EAC, like no easy anti-cheat in your launch options. By the way, which is for the basic PC Steam only thing in your launch options.
Right.
Yep.
They were asked why they couldn't use no EAC because like EAC was messing with people's games. There was
Still is.
lags, like still is like frame skips and everything along with it. And basically, the response that we had from Photo was, we had to test it. We should have communicated that beforehand. Whoops.
Yeah, that's tough.
Verbatim, by the way.
That's tough.
It's in the it's in the document, man. I need to actually get that link right now.
But okay, right there. But
So
right there,
you
right there
continue
though.
while I
Like
find the document.
right there
So I can
though.
link
Yeah.
it.
When you say when he says we should have tested it, that's fair. That's fine. But you end it with just like, whoops. Like too bad. Like how do you expect people not to like get upset over that?
Go for it. Yeah. I don't get that point, right? And that's bringing it back up is like, and I know like I'm not trying to specifically slander Duke, or I'm not trying to specifically slander BMG and this thought process, but it's like, how can you get mad at the community for getting mad at you guys when you literally say things like, we had to test it, we should have communicated. Look, there's no apology. You actually, that seems like and I'm not saying that they don't care, because I believe they do care, but what else can I take from that but that you don't care?
Right.
Like, your response literally telling me that like I I should not care about, you don't care about what happens to me in the tournament experience, because we have to test it. Okay, I get that.
Yeah, that's fine.
We should have communicated. We should have communicated it. Understood. Did you understand that you messed up and that you should have communicated it? Perfect. We're making steps. Whoops. No. Go back. Stop. Stop. Whoops isn't it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't whoops that. Like, people literally cannot play the game because of your whoops. Like, it's the same thing. It was like first when the whole Grace War thing happened, and like Photo was like talking about the fact that they were literally like up all night, literally crying about talking about the fact that like what decision they should make for BCX.
Right.
I can feel the genuineness in that statement.
Yeah, like it felt really real that they were sad about the mistake that they had made.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's like Great Sword meta, yeah, is probably the most potent meta we've had in terms of the fact of like, well, it's potent in the sense that like in terms of like the weapons potency in the meta was like it was literally in a tier above every single thing else, 100% of the 100%. But
Hmm.
it wasn't the worst meta we've had, so I can't even be mad at them for what happened, and I'm actually leaving it in BCX.
Right.
But
So, go ahead.
I was just say, but then you look at current meta, and it's like we're no longer passionate about the fact like these situations are happening. We're just like, oh well,
Yeah, well, it happens.
whoops.
Cool, man, I guess.
But
And like that, that kind of funny enough, like if you look for consistencies across all of these like statements and like things you hear, it all kind of lines together. Like if it affects a small portion of the player base, they basically don't care about it, right? And with
mhm.
that, I want to get into some of these other tweets because it'll just illustrate that point better. So here, I'll throw this stream back up, right? So we can first touch on Jeff Wardo's tweets.
Okay.
On Twitter, Jeff WARDO14 is his @. He tweets, Brawlhalla is not dying. So this is a direct response to Glue's tweet. You are getting bored. Besides, like 3 people, pros are replaceable. Calm down. Now, on a personal level, I can't agree with the fact of like thinking people like individuals are replaceable, because everybody who is a part of the community is contributing just by being there.
Right.
However, from some of the stuff that we just mentioned previously and some of the stuff we are going to see, this feels kind of like BMG's perspective.
Yeah. Because he's not wrong. That's literally how we've been treated. Raw is not dying.
There's even other pros who know in their mind that they're like, okay, Sandstorm and like Boomy are the only people that really matter.
Yeah.
Why? What?
Literally.
What?
You might be able to argue Cosplay just because of his YouTube
his content, yeah.
Yeah. Like, but only 3 pros matter. One of them quits. Boomy literally just streams, just chills on stream. He don't even practice.
He streams again, then talks about how bad the game is occasionally. It's so funny, bro.
Yeah, he literally like his whole channel, his whole Twitch channel is literally just him slandering while he's just like listening to music. It's a vibe. I love it.
It is.
And then like shout out to Cosmos for making Brawler content, but like I guarantee my man is probably trying his hardest to make something shake in the game right now with like content wise.
Yeah, and so like my biggest thing about this tweet is like when people are treated this way and it becomes evident, you start to feel that as players like falling down. Even I remember Hyson tweeted earlier, and I should pull up that tweet as well. He was tweeting that I believe he's PR 14 in Europe, right? By the way, he tweeted that he came home and he hopped on rank to grind, and he didn't even know the season reset today. And it's talking about how his passion for the game, like that's how he knows his passion for the game is not what it once was.
Right.
Which is kind of telling. Here, I'll pull up the tweet live right here. And here he says it. I launched the game. So it's Hyson. HYSE 4 N's is that I launched the game after work and realized that the season has been reset. I didn't even know. This confirms to me that the passion I once had is kind of gone. Which is a sad state of the game when there's multiple pros across multiple regions
yeah,
who are echoing this kind of sentiment.
Yep.
It says a lot about what's happening with Brawlhalla on the underside. Because on the upper side, we have, we still get our 3 dev streams a week. We get to feel like we're tapped into Brawlhalla, cool. Giveaways, we get stream rewards, bots, all that shit. But that's kind of all just covering up the bullshit that's happening with us. And so, one of the things that's also in, did you guys have any thoughts on this, by the way, before I move on? Because I have another point.
No, I mean, not really. He's right. I feel like that's how everyone feels about it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So then we get to another point about there's only like 3 pros that matter. BMG only tries to take care of like the very few, if any. So we move on to this next tweet from Cake Assault _ who is a top 50 Rivals of Aether player. So another
He's also a top melee player as well.
Top melee player? I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, well, he used to be like he used to be like top 100. I don't know if he currently is, but he's definitely a ridiculously good melee player as well.
Which is interesting, right? So he tweeted this today, which is today, the new season drop. News if you didn't know, right? But he said, played a couple hours of Brawlhalla the other day. Oh no, so this is before. And he said, and I heard this is the highest rank it goes to? ? Is the game supposed to be this easy?
By the way, he's playing guns, which is supposed to be the hardest weapon in the game.
Oh, no. He's playing axe as well, but I mean...
axe, yeah, sure.
There's axe in there.
Yeah,
but like, come on, he had to play at least some guns.
No, he had to, for sure, but like, okay, right? So that's one thing from somebody who doesn't even like play, like, this is not their main game. They just said, I'm just gonna play Brawlhalla, just some Brawlhalla today, and they hit Diamond, and it's kind of like that's it. Like like, is there no
Yeah,
more to the ranked experience?
GG's.
Whereas, like, if we end up like looking at a bunch of other games, right? So, like, we're gonna look at games inside and outside of just a fighting game genre. So, League of Legends, probably one of the biggest games global, literally.
Yep.
Where technically Brawlhalla should be as well because we have 50 million players concurrent, but it doesn't matter, right? League of Legends
We
added a
don't worry
master
about it.
tier. Yeah, we're not gonna worry about it. League of Legends added a master tier in 2013, to go above Diamond and I believe below Challenger. And then in 2019, they decided to add Grandmaster, which is above Master and below Challenger. And they also, during when they made that change, they added four splits in Master, Grandmaster, and Challenger,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can have a sense of progress. We understand where you really stand among the player base and everything else. But it kind of makes you wonder, like, okay, they can do it for that game, but they can't, add a few extra lines of code for Brawlhalla. We don't get any new ranks. We haven't gotten any new ranks like ever, if I'm not mistaken, bro.
Yeah.
It's been like 10 bronze, silver, gold, plat, diamond since the dawn of time. Cool, whatever. Then we touch on like Apex Legends, which when their ranked season started, when they released in 2019, they started with Apex Predator, which I guess is on brand. Apex Legends, Apex Predator, cool. And then in 2 seasons later, at the beginning of 2020, they added Master in between Diamond and Pred. Now that's kind of interesting, right?
All right, hold on. I just did some quick math too, just so that way. This is old statistics too. This is pulled up off of Brawlhalla seasonal rank distribution and percentage of players
Mhm.
with the 50 million players, roughly. This is
Right.
at the end of 2021. 6%, 6.2% were at 2,000, so diamond or higher. That's
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 insane.
3 million players that are still in diamond.
3 million.
I'm assuming
It
that's
doesn't.
across ones and twos.
Yeah, and wait, this might be for. Yeah,
It is just ones that's even
just
funnier.
this is just purely rank. Yep, this is just
Okay, so it's
rank.
both right. Okay,
Yep.
okay. That's fine.
But still 3 million players. So like when we're talking about, yeah, it might be quote unquote the top of the top, but you're not talking about a small group of people. You're still talking about 3 million people that are looking for, like, they hit the end. They hit the end. What do they do now?
The same rank as
Yeah,
Sandstorm. GG's.
Yeah,
that's
3
insane.
million. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just trying to
No, no,
throw in
that
some
was a good
numbers
point.
real quick.
No, you're great. Thank you. And like, if the numbers do check out, again, millions of players are still quote unquote too small of a player base, right?
Too
To
small.
either, yeah, and like, okay, if we add a new rank, it's gonna be an even smaller portion, right? But like, we have a ton of people who hit diamond and then like stop, like they just quit, they just
Yeah.
stop playing. But because they are a small portion by the numbers, it's like cool, whatever. You're still neglecting a fair amount of your player base of people who are competitive or into competitive. Like, okay, fine.
Not to mention,
So,
like, you look at. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
go.
Well, you look at games like, what's it called? Apex, right? Like Apex for the highest rank if you're a pred, you have to keep playing because there's you lose points and you go down in disparity as people go up.
Hmm.
So, but when Brawlhalla doesn't happen, right? Like even in Smash of all things, where the Elite Smash system is absolutely garbage, it still has
Ash.
that system. Like
Right.
you still have the system. If you don't play, you will go down in terms of like losing your GSP.
I,
And I'm like, Brawlhalla doesn't have that.
I think
Hmm.
Apex is a good example of something that could be easily implemented into the game.
Right.
Yes.
Because you have your Preds, and it's not like a new number. It's not like a set number. It's not like, oh, like if it were to translate to Brawlhalla, it wouldn't be like, oh, you hit 2,300 and you're a Brawlhalla Predator. It's just the top 500 of your region or whatever. I don't remember.
Uh,
Is it top 500 or top 750? I can't remember for Apex,
it's
but
750 for Apex and 500 for Overwatch, by the way.
okay.
Yeah.
Just so
So
you
yeah.
So yeah, but like implementing something as simple as that is huge. It would
Yeah.
be enough. It would literally be.
Mm.
It, I don't know if it would be enough, but it would be definitely something that would,
Yeah.
be
Uh,
It'd be a
way
good
good.
step.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it'd be a
a major
huge
step in
step.
the right direction.
Yes.
It'll be a
Instead of
good
it just
game.
being these small steps, it'd be actually genuinely good leap, like towards
Yeah.
those goals.
And I mean, they already
Ironically,
kind of
okay.
have it because you hit like a. Don't you get that number? Don't you get a number like if you hit?
For,
But that's global. That's like all of
yeah.
rank, right?
Which is a good thing you brought that up because it is also in Barron's document where I believe it was Foda specifically who was talking about they want to change that system a little bit and they want to change the top 250 global to top 250 in your region, right? Ooh,
Well, if you're doing that, you might as well just throw in the new rank. If you're doing that,
might as
throw
well.
in a new color,
I
throw
would
in a
feel
new
like,
rank, throw in a new emblem, something,
New rewards,
yeah.
something.
something.
I feel like the thing is too is like at the end of the day, what does Diamond do for you other than just give you more? It all does give you more rank tokens after it ends, and then you get a banner, right?
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
It's just a
those
flex,
rank
but it's not
points.
even a good.
Not a good
Okay.
flex.
I was just
Yeah, it's not a good
saying
flex.
those rank points that what is that called? Glory? Is that what it's called?
Yeah,
Glory, that's what it is.
glory.
Yeah,
Dude,
because the glory stuff.
Mhm.
And this again, personal preference, obviously, but I think all the glory stuff sucks. Except like the colors are only good on certain characters, like really only specific characters. The weapons are basically butt ugly
Lacking.
on every single character, like on every single skin, unless you're using like really you're looking to make it work.
I can tell you right now. I have never seen anybody that purchased anything with quote unquote glory, and I've been like, oh damn, like that guy's got that, like that's dope. But like
Yeah,
you hop into an Apex lobby and you jump out of the ship and you look over and you see somebody with a red dive trail
Retro. You get
and
and
scared.
you're
you're
like,
like,
yo, it's a
oh
predator lobby.
yeah, you're like,
It's lit.
oh, I probably shouldn't land over there, or if I land
Yeah,
over there, it's gonna be, you know what I mean? But
yeah, for sure.
there's nothing with that. Like you don't get that with Brawlhalla.
Mm-mm. But it
Not
doesn't
at all. The
matter.
only thing
They don't want to.
the only thing you get is like the titles, but then we don't have we talked about last episode. There's not enough tournaments to give us enough titles anyways for it to really matter.
Yeah, it
Bro.
doesn't mean anything.
Anyways.
Yeah.
But with that, right, is I think the thing is too is like you like you said for the Pred Trail thing. Pred Trail is something that I like Pred Trail, and then like also the thing that they changed the look of the rank emblems every single season is something that actually genuinely makes me want to get better at the game because I'm like
Right.
they put so much detail into them to make them look so sick. And
Right.
then it's
Mhm.
like and every single season the Pred Trail and all the and the Diamond Trail and the Master Trail all are different.
They are.
Brawlhalla does change their emblem, but it's so minuscule over such
It's
a
minuscule. Yeah.
long period. You
Mhm.
have to do it for such a long time to get like an actual notice of like, wait, does that guy have like
Bro.
an axe or does that guy have a tree? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, five
Yep.
seasons. It
you know
changes
what I mean?
every like 5 times you get diamond. So the 6th time you get a new emblem. I have like I've been diamond like 24 times. It doesn't even cross my mind because I don't care.
Yeah.
that's so long. You know what I mean? Like that's
It
so.
is.
And
Not to
at the end of the
mention
day, like I got a tree for an emblem.
yeah, exactly. And it's like not to mention like all the other emblems are like the ones that you can get in the game. They're like 30
The mammoth coins.
mammoth coins are literally all better.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
They're
don't even
all
rock my.
better.
I never rock my rank shit ever.
Why would you?
I don't even rock the
Like
borders, bro.
yeah, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
think I've
saying.
used a diamond border in I don't know how long. I don't know if I think when I first hit diamond, I was like, "Oh, this is awesome," and then I'm like, "That it's not."
The first time I bought borders, I literally have not changed my borders since. And then
Mm.
the same thing with emblem. I think my current emblem is Jaehyun, like the Doodle Jaehyun, and it's been like
That's on some goofy
it.
shit.
Yeah, it's like it's always been like this. It's been like three things. It's either been like it's like been like the gay pride flag, the Doodle Jaehyun, and like one other one
Mhm.
since they've been like adding like good emblems. But it's never. I've literally never used my ring emblem.
Right.
Like, why would you? It's
And
not even
let's move
cool.
on really quick so I can tap on this last tweet that we have.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me bring that up for you because I also had some other like pro player input or pro player like questions, right?
Mhm.
Here we have Megd's tweet from today as well. Confused on why BMG doesn't want to add a rank above diamond. It's got to be one of the most asked things forever in this game. people were asking about this since I downloaded it. They've heard people asking for it, but decided not to add it for years. I wonder why. And I want to scroll down to Stingray and Experience's responses. Stingray says, it's because BMG says adding the new rank wouldn't affect enough people since most of the players are low ranked.
Well, we just discussed that.
Yeah, that's that. We've seen it in Baron's document where they talked about it. If you're diamond, you're such a small, like a minuscule portion of the player base. Cool, fine. And the experience also says, but like, what do they lose from just coding it into the game? We things that we basically already covered, but just to show you that the concern and that it's out into everybody's mouths.
Yeah, it's not just the us thing.
Aware.
Like this is consistent across the board.
And again, remember they said it's such a small portion of the player base. They're talking about, like we said, 3 million people, 3 million diamond players. Like, you can say that's a small portion. That's a lot of people.
It
is.
And I think the other thing too is like the thing that made me upset in the document during that specific part, that Georgie screenshotted, was the part where Foda said, "I don't think of it as the end. I think of it as the start." Right? But it's like, you can't use that for Brawlhalla. If this was any other game, I would agree. Because Street Fighter V has it so that you have your rank, even after you hit the top ranks, your rank number goes lower and lower to be number one.
You look at they have 20 ranks. They have 20 ranks in that game.
Right.
Street Fighter V has 20 ranks in the game, and Tekken 7, to talk about fighting games, Tekken 7 has 46 ranks in that system.
46.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's dope. That's actually dope.
And they're color coded, by the way. So like like by fours. It's so amazing.
Yeah, that's
color coded by fours. And again, you get to see yourself on the leaderboards and everything. Like it keeps you engaged in your growth, and you can and funny enough, between all of those ranks, you can see different playstyle differences, changes, or whatever.
Yeah.
Where like Brawlhalla feels like homogenous. It just feels like just one giant wasteland, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then, but what I was gonna say with that is like you look at Apex Legends. Apex Legends has your pred, but like your pred 250 versus being pred top 5, right? Like the difference is so insane comparably. So it's like when you look at that is when you hit pred, that actually is the start, because you're like, oh, I can hit number 1 on the leaderboard. I can hit number 1 pred, or I can get top 5, top 50, top whatever, right? And that's actually a genuine goal to want to hit. When you hit Brawlhalla, it's like, what does me hitting 2400 do for me? What does that change?
Depending on the time of the season, you get to see that number.
Well, that's the thing too. Like in game, you don't see it. Like, how are you like in game without having to use an outside source? How do you go about looking it up and checking, right?
Yeah, you don't see it until again, like you're in the top 250 global. Then it's like literally there on your screen the whole time. But even then, after a while, that loses its pull or incentive. Like it doesn't even, like, why play ranked, honestly.
Even if you were to compare them to the Apex pred thing like that, right? They don't even try to put effort into making it look cool. It's literally just there. Because I've seen it, you have it multiple times, and I'm like, it's just there. Like it's literally a smaller number under the current number of what your current rank points are.
Yeah, and I don't get anything extra for even being up there.
Nothing. So it's like there's no
they could add titles to that. They could add titles to that, different color, like whatever.
Give me a color. Give me a different border. Give me like some type of like I don't know, like something like when for MMOs, like people like if they're PvP players, they get different like a red name over them because they're like they'll attack people more often, stuff like that, and they win matches a lot. Give me something like that where I'm like, something cool, something that makes me interested to want to do it.
Something that makes you want to play the game.
Yeah, something
like hitting a level 100 legend on a legend and getting nothing.
Yeah,
you get gold.
You get gold. You get gold. It's like at this, like I have 100 level 100. Give me like some sick color that's specific only to my character.
By the way,
like that.
This is another system that like has not changed for the entire lifespan of Brawlhalla.
Yeah,
I've had level 100
gold. 120 gold.
I've had a level 100 Koji since like 2019 or some shit, bro. It's been years. 2019 or 2020, regardless, it's been years. I had 120 gold. It's like.
And these things, the things that we're talking about here, this isn't even like isolated towards the competitive group. Like this is the casual players. These are the people that want to get on and grind. Like, what are you grinding for? Nothing.
Literally no reason. Literally no reason. And the thing is, like, and I think the thing is too is that Brawlhalla, like, yes, Brawlhalla has to, their casual player base matters to them, right?
Hmm.
And but the thing is, they have to understand, like, to us, the casual players matter to us too because, like, we don't have a choice but to care about them because they're just all your decisions are based around what happens to them. So, so if that's the case, I don't have a choice but to care about what little Jimmy, who's been playing the game for 2 months and is 10, cares about the game. Because if he doesn't like the fact that I don't know, like Val Sidestick is a little too fast and he doesn't understand the game, then my character might get nerfed.
Right.
Allegedly, right? Since
Like,
since since apparently they have to balance around casuals or what they want,
yeah, that's like, what do you
or
mean
make changes.
balance around casuals? Like, you can the casual, like we already talked about that part. Casuals don't matter in that sense, and casuals don't matter in general in terms of like balancing or even making decisions. The only thing that they matters is like, are you making the game fun?
Right.
And the general consensus is the fact is that no, you're not. And I think the thing is too is that a lot of the time the people that are that are arguing for BMG are the casual player, like the people that are in that casual category, right?
Right.
Because it's not to say like they're not people who don't, they're not, they could be diamond players. They could be top 2,500, 2,700 players. You're casual because you don't care about the competition. That's what makes you casual. When you care
Hmm.
about the fact of what's going on, then you can be a competitor and you have an argument in that, you have a stake in that argument. But when you're not participating in tournaments, not grinding for tournaments, you're not actively looking for like, trying to be able to make it so you can go to these lands. You're not trying to, you don't have a goal in the game outside of just the thing that the game tells you to have a goal for. You're not a competitor. That's just what it is.
Right.
So,
That's facts.
and that's the reason why I have such an issue with this thought process. And the other thing too I was going to say earlier was the fact is like when we talked about rank disparity,
Hmm.
Apex has rank disparity, right? But then Apex also changed the way that their rank system points wise works, and they changed it multiple seasons to make it so that they can
Yeah.
adjust it to how people play the game specifically. And they even
Hmm.
to the point where now it was like we were like, okay, they may change that are beneficial to the game. People are like, we want team KP team so everyone can get multiple because the different people have different team comps and
Yeah.
people play different roles and stuff like that. It's like the people who play anchor don't really get as many points usually. It's unfortunate, stuff like that. But it's like cool. That's something they actually talked. They even told us they were like, yeah, we're considering doing that. We're like trying to figure out how to make it work, see if it's possible.
Hmm.
Like, yes, thank you. We're moving to do something. We're actually
Right.
getting someone with a system that's beneficial to all groups because at the end of the day, that also helps the casual players because if they're not understanding how to play the game, like at to the point where they're like they can hit a good rank or whatever it may be, if they're like bronze, if they're playing well as a team and learning how to play well as a team, then they're all getting rewarded for playing well as a team and learning how to play the game
Yeah.
versus you playing with a bunch of randoms and then he gets 8 kills, you get like 200 damage and you get like three point plus points. Like, what does that do for you? You don't learn anything, right? So it's like
Hmm.
they're helping the game. Brawlhalla doesn't want to do that, and I don't know why. And it confuses me a lot.
Yeah.
It definitely throws me for a loop as well, and I need to think about this because I want
I'm
to
hoping with
mm,
the recent things with like Baron, with his fact page, with him in communications with like the devs more, and it's seeming like they're trying to head in the right direction with the dev streams and talking about these things. So hopefully,
okay, and
I'm
then
gonna hope for the best and just hope hopefully they're starting to see some of these issues and we can make a step forward, right?
yeah, and that's a perfect point to go off on, right? Because like you said, it seems like they're trying to do better, and along with that, more people in the community are speaking out. Regardless of what your point of view is, like keep talking, please, so
Yeah, for
that
sure.
something can actually happen.
Yes.
But when it comes to that, I'm hoping for the best as well, and I also want to tap back on how, again, like we said, we don't know if their hands might be tied or anything like that, and hopefully it's looking good for next week. We might have somebody in the industry who might be able to help us understand that.
Yeah, we
Is there
might.
anything we could say about that, Maury?
Yeah, so hopefully next week I've got a buddy that's in game development. He's worked on quite a few large games.
Can't wait to expose that. Expose what he
yeah.
worked on.
I don't
Ask
know.
him
I
about
don't
that.
know. Some of his stuff is actually like under like an NDA and stuff, but he's worked on some of like, and he's currently working on some of like the most competitive like first person shooters, like AAA games. Like he's worked on it, so he's been in this, right? So like hopefully we can get him in here next week and kind of shed some light on like the intricacies of what it's like being a dev, right? So, you know,
Right.
maybe we can help shed some light and take some of this heat off of these guys and, you know, maybe look at it through a different lens.
Yeah, perhaps because again we can talk here all we want, but that we are not within that profession ourselves. So why not ask somebody who's in that profession and get more professional opinions? And with that, I want to ask if there's any other thoughts that you guys had with potentially closing.
I mean, same thing as last time. BMG, if you somehow hear this, we don't hate you. We have no about like no malice towards you. We literally just want the game to be better. If you guys want to talk, we are more than willing to have you guys on the show. Not even for a views thing. We literally just want to have a conversation. That's the
Yeah.
only reason we want to do it. So the whole reason we
Period.
started the podcast in the first place is to have a genuine conversation with ourselves, each other, and the community. No matter which community we're speaking on. And yeah, so and hopefully we can get somewhere.
Yep.
I'm praying. Same for you, Maury.
In closing, I again I want everybody to try and keep an open mind with this. I'm hoping, like I said, next week with our guest that can really shed some light on things. A great quote that I've read recently and I've really like tried to really take it in and understand it. You can't teach someone, or you cannot learn what you think you already know, right?
That's facts.
So try and keep an open mind. You know, for the people that are upset with BMG, for the people that are, you know, upset with the way things are going right now, don't think you know what's going on, because then you can never take a step forward. If you think you already know it, you can't take a step forward and hopefully, you know, get a new perspective. So try and have an open perspective. Did we get Baron's fact page?
Oh
Throw it up
yeah, I
in chat.
posted it in the chat, and I can
Okay.
throw it up in the chat one more time in
Yeah,
closing as well.
yeah, throw that up in there one more time so people can check that out. Definitely, if you guys are interested and you want to know what's going on with like the lore of the game, which is I think a very undertouched value of the game, go check that out.
True.
He's got all that in there. He's got, you know, everything else that you want to know from patch notes to dev streams. Huge, 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 huge. Um,
Indeed.
I think I think that's it for me for Brawlhalla.
All right. And me as well. And honestly, to tag onto your quote about you cannot learn something which you think you already know, I need to keep that close to my heart as well, because I can also get caught up in times of disdain for the game state and things like that for being like, from being a long time competitor with 4,800 hours. So, so
Sheesh.
I
Wait,
need to,
wait,
need to,
wait,
need
wait,
to
wait. How many? How many?
four
Oh.
4,800, bro, which it's tough.
Oh.
It's tough,
All
man.
right, all right.
So any aggression I might have, bro, it's basically probably due to that fact. But man, so with that, hopefully, again next week we can get an interview. We're gonna have an interview with somebody who is in the like in the dev world,
Yes,
so we can
sir.
get an insider's view instead of just talking back and forth between everybody who, like, all of us, we play the game, bro. We can't know for sure, but we're trying to know for
We want
sure.
to know. We want to know. We want the discussion. You guys keep the discussion going. Bring the discussion our way. Let us have a group discussion. Let us hash it out.
Please. And to answer Zophia's question beforehand, 4,800 on Steam, which includes VOD review and all, spectating, all of that stuff. In Brawlhalla, I'm close to 2,000 hours, like 2,000 in game, like actually playing the game hours.
Let's go.
So
That's
yeah, man,
insane.
it's a lot. It's painful, but thank you everyone for coming to episode 3 of Meraki's Game States. I hope you've learned something. I hope you have thoughts, opinions, feedback. Leave that with us, please, when we upload it to YouTube on Friday, YouTube and Spotify, Friday at noon, 12 p.m. EST. And with that, I hope you have a great night. Thank you for coming again. Love you guys.
Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.